This Top 10 Fantasy Football Running Backs edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast. Use that promo code SGP50 and get a 50% deposit bonus. Play, win, and get paid. We're also brought to you by Amazon. Log on to sportsgamblingpodcast.com and click that Amazon banner. Bookmark that link and use it every time you shop to score sweet savings and support the podcast. Ooh, welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
I just, as you were saying that, I just had an instinctual reaction to look at the door in the studio. Yes. And I realize now that we are video recording.
We are.
It's going to look like that I took a look at the camera like, what's up? You know? Like, hey, girl.
Why were you looking at the door? You're worried someone's going to bust in?
I was just thinking about how we need to improve some of the soundproofing on the door with some of the later changes to the studio.
Yes, we are broadcasting not only as an MP3 on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, CLNS Media, we're everywhere, but also youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Maybe I have to start dressing up for the podcast, Ryan, because a lot of times I come from the gym, so maybe I come all sweaty, but the listeners can see me yoked out. The viewers, I know we have a strong female listenership.
There's some audio to pull there.
Wait, quick sidebar. There is a there's a store in Glendale.
Yes.
It's a bodybuilding nutrition store. It's have you heard of it, Ryan?
What's it called?
It's a store in Glendale called Get Yoked.
Fucking millennials.
And
that's not how you label a store.
It's spelled Get and then YOK' Nutrition.
Okay.
It's actually a chain. Holy shit. There's one in Glendale, Burbank, North Hollywood. It's taking over.
Get Yoked.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so you're stopping
I was coming from the gym, but I got super fired up. If you're listening to the podcast, you know I had a falling out with 24 Hour Fitness over a number of practices, one including their disgusting bathrooms. The final straw was their towel policy. They eliminated it. I go to Gold's Gym. Gold's Gym, high quality, clean, great towel policy, great
towel
steam
service,
room, sauna.
Okay,
yeah.
So the towels aren't like cardboard.
No, they're always there.
Imagine you're a gym, and imagine you say, "Hey, we're gonna offer a towel service," and then imagine those towels are like somewhere between paper and cardboard, with like an old man's beard stubble poking off of it. I mean, I went to the same. It was comical.
It was horrible.
And then listen, these older gentlemen from the old country, for whatever reason, they don't like shower heads, so they unscrew the shower head.
Yep.
So you walk into the shower and there's no fucking shower heads. What kind of savage takes off a shower head?
They're animals.
Anyway.
So Gold's Gym, it's a much better gym. The only problem is it's a part of the Glendale Galleria. Now, if you've never been to the LA area, it's like one of these mega malls. It's probably one of the bigger malls in Los Angeles.
What's that?
The Glendale Galleria.
It's also right next to the Americana, which makes it
which
even
I guess
bigger.
Is apparently a different
malls.
mall. It's just this giant complex of shopping centers, which I hate. I hate malls. I hate walking around in malls. But I've made the concession because I like this gym. Now, here's the rub. They have a free parking area that completely easy, not connected to the mall parking, that you can use after 6 p.m. and on weekends.
Jesus.
Perfect time for the gym. It's free parking. Don't have to deal with driving actually through the mall parking lot. But now I went there for my pre-podcast workout to get amped up to talk fantasy football.
Awesome.
To get the blood flowing, get some cardio, maybe lift some weights. And the free parking's gone. No. They've turned it into pay parking only. So now I have to deal with the mall parking lot. It's 6 stories of just pure fucking hell.
Oh my goodness.
I'm ready to fucking kill myself.
I will say that particular, like, I'll give you a pro tip, Sean. Even if you're going to the Galleria, park in the Americana.
Okay.
There's always spots. You can be bougie and do the valet.
We're
doing all right, Sean. We're doing all right.
We are doing all right. Episode 700.
Another pro tip: if you spend $200, they'll validate valet for free. Just.
I don't know if I'm going to spend $200 in protein bars at the Gold's Gym. But
there's an Apple store. Get something nice.
Okay. Let's do it. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk fantasy football running backs. But before we do, I think we'll have to do maybe a separate podcast hitting on NBA free agency. Again, I nailed Kyrie Irving to the Nets.
You did.
I gave that out mid-May, so you're welcome. Lock that up.
I'll try to get that audio for you, Sean.
I even threw out KD to the Nets 2 days ago. Tweeted it out at Gambling Podcast. My sources confirmed it.
Yeah, I
was ahead of the game.
You are the man.
I'm breaking news left and right.
You are breaking news.
Sixers, they lost Jimmy Butler. I guess they retained Tobias Harris, got Al Horford.
Not happy about it, huh, Sean?
I really like Jimmy Butler, but if you look at that lineup with Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, that's a solid lineup. So I'm not super pissed. I just like Jimmy Butler as a guy.
Lots of people right now, they're like, hey, I saw the title of this podcast was fantasy football. Why are you talking about that bullshit?
I couldn't help it because it's in the news. But
you're just trying to troll me with the Kramer Fuck My Life tour.
Yes.
Continues.
Well, Ryan, all right. Yeah. Do you want to?
No. My official statement's on Twitter at KramerCentric.
And your official statement. Yeah, give us an official statement on the Knicks.
Well, we definitely have to have our boy Zach on.
Yeah.
So we can commiserate. But
NBA Zach B. We'll talk. We'll do a free agency pod somewhere down the line. But this is all about fantasy football. But we got to hit on it because it is breaking news, right? The Knicks complete whiff of Zion, Durant, and Kyrie. You have the floor.
I stand with Stephen A. Smith. Hashtag Dolan sell the team.
That would be crazy if this actually gets him to sell the team. Unfortunately, I don't think it will, Ryan.
I don't think it will either. But I do recommend you go to my Twitter feed at KramerCentric where I've pinned this tweet and just watch that video of Stephen A.
Oh, he's fired up.
Oh, I had a moment where I was like, considering how annoying I find Stephen A. Smith, he absolutely nailed it.
All right.
Let's talk about football.
This football conversation is, of course, brought to you by our presenting sponsor, MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag has just announced they're doing their own version of the NFL Super Contest. That's right. Each week, for the entire NFL season, you pick 5 games against the spread. The winner of the entire contest, $100,000 guaranteed to first place. Probably more because they know they're going to get a shitload of entries. The entire prize pool is being given out. There is no vig. No vig over at MyBookie.ag. $100 entry fee. Compare that to the Super Contest in Vegas, Ryan. That's what, $1,500 to enter? And you got to hire a proxy?
Yep, and they started taking a vig.
Yeah, they take a vig, $1,500. This is a much easier point of entry. 5 games against the spread each week. I'm sure we'll be talking about it all NFL season. You go to mybookie.ag/supercontest. But if you're signing up for the first time, make sure you use that promo code SGP50. Get a 50% deposit bonus, play, win, and get paid. It feels so good to be talking football. Football in July. It's official. A lot of podcasts, a lot of sites. They start their football coverage in August. You've heard of Christmas in July. We here at the Sports Gambling Podcast, football in July. Kramer, let's kick things off.
Football in July.
Give us your number 10 fantasy football running back.
Well, this was very difficult for me.
Okay.
Because I have
the number 10 spot or just this list?
I kind of have, in my mind, there's 8 guys. And then there's like a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And I think depending on who you like, I'm not going to get mad at you if you have a guy like, I don't know, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook in this spot. But for me, I'm taking a stab. We said this.
The key to these podcasts is you got to, and this is a fun exercise because it's forcing me already to take some opinions in the league, who I like, what I like, why I like them.
Here's what I'll say. The guys I nixed from the list in favor of this guy, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Leonard Fournette. It's Damian Williams at number 10.
Ooh.
Andy Reid, running back. There's a number of guys who you can kind of look at and say, oh, wow, they could absolutely be a beast. Aaron Jones is in this category too, where if he's the guy in Green Bay, the ceiling is as high as you can go. But for Damian Williams, it just seems like the floor is also high because Andy Reid uses the shit out of his running backs.
Yeah, and
he's going to be involved in the passing game, and you saw what he did down the stretch last year.
And it seems like there's going to be no Kareem Hunt stealing carries from him.
Yeah,
who's out in Cleveland now?
Carlos Hyde, that would be the trouble. Although he's been kind of garbage. He's been a little bit of hot.
Carlos Hyde's hit the wall. I like that. I like that Damian Williams.
I realize this is more of an upside play, and we would probably have a decent argument about why you should have taken Fournette here or even Cook. Fournette with that massive ceiling, he's performed pretty well even though he's been hurt. The problem is he's going to be hurt. He's going to miss some games. He's never going to see eye to eye with Coughlin.
Yeah, it does seem like he's on the outs with Coughlin.
And to me, Leonard Fournette has been on my permanent do not draft list. Every year I see him and I'm like, wow, he's gonna have like a 30-point game or something.
I think your case for Leonard Fournette, he is not on my top 10. But I think if you're a Leonard Fournette backer, bringing in Nick Foles, aka a real quarterback, with Super Bowl MVP experience, a guy, I think that's going to help open up things a little bit. Where you could, if you're a Leonard Fournette backer, you would say, oh well, they didn't really have a quarterback, so they're going to stack the box, and they know they want to pound the rock. With Foles in there, at least they're going to open it up. He can throw the deep ball. I think that'll help their running game. My number 10.
Ooh. And
I feel like this is I'll be interested to hear, Ryan, if he's in your number 10. Out of the Detroit Lions, give me Kerryon Johnson. I love this position for Kerryon Johnson. He only had 118 attempts last year, 5.4 yards per attempt. I think he can he to me seems like a guy that's going to have a nice jump up, a nice second season. 32 catches last year. And I was doing a little local news, Ryan. You know, I like to get my local news.
Tell me about that.
According to the Detroit Free Press, Kerryon Johnson is being seen as a true receiving threat. So that means the beat guys are seeing it. I saw the same buzz about Tariq Cohen early on. Not to bring it back to my $200,000 win. And last but not least, we haven't talked about this, but Matt Stafford. This is kind of sad. His wife is going through some crazy shit. She's got a brain tumor. I just can't imagine Stafford is going to be the same guy. As sad as it is, I think he's going to be – how could you not be distracted as the quarterback? And, again, Mike Patricia, whatever. Matt Patricia, he's an old-school guy. You know he likes to pound the rock. It just seems – doesn't Kerryon Johnson get a ton of targets, ton of catches, ton of looks?
I think, May 28th, 2019 from ESPN.com, Lions revamping offense with focus on running game. I think it's certainly a reason.
And it's in a dome.
Now, I would say that it's
a volume.
The news of the running game probably is more of something that's going to steer me away from the receivers than it is towards Kerryon Johnson. I think you have the right idea. I think I like him more than most, but I still like him less than 10 guys.
This is a jump up. This is a jump up guy.
I think in your 10 spot, you got to have a guy like this. Even in the 9 spot, I think you have to have a guy like this, because why not? And
my top part of the board is chalk. I will, or at least the top 3. Okay, Kramer, who's your number 9?
I think even with a reduced situation, I still had to put Gurley in my top 10.
Wow.
And
is Todd Gurley
here's
a
my
top
problem.
10 running back? Is that a hot take? It feels like a hot take at this point.
Here's my problem. We always have this where like guys kind of dip out for a little bit and they like, oh yeah, that's right. He's really good. And yeah, he had some injury concerns, and yeah, they'll probably lighten his load a little bit. But
some injury concerns. It came out he's an arthritic knee and that he's never going to be the same.
I have him at 9 because just again, if that offense even is a fraction of what it was last year, there's going to be a lot of red zone opportunities. And again,
is he their goal line back though?
We'll see. I mean, they brought in the rook. They have the rookie, Henderson, whatever his name is. I can't not have Gurley in there just be. And here's what I'll say: when I'm drafting, and when you look at where the 9th running back could go, I've seen. All right, so I've started doing some best ball drafts. Confession: Todd Gurley. I had the 2nd pick, Sean.
Yeah, where's he getting drafted?
I took him in the 3rd round. I just like that's where. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I have Saquon Barkley, Mike Evans, and Todd Gurley. Like, think about that. That's a nice first 3 picks.
Yeah.
So I didn't even want to take him. But when he was there, I didn't take him at the end of the 2nd round. But when he came back, I was like, Jesus, I have to take him.
All right. Making a case for him.
Anyway, the point is I don't know if putting him 9th gets him onto a lot of – this is the first time I've ended up with Todd Gurley. And I would say I'm probably going to avoid him in the FFPC main events unless if he falls into the 3rd round and you're sitting there with 2 studs already. How do you not stab at Gurley?
Yeah.
I see that. I think that's a decision people – now, if in the 2nd round, I definitely wouldn't take him as a first-round back. But he's going to be my 9th running back.
All right. Making a case.
I mean, the other guys all have injury concern too, right? Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette. You could talk me into an Aaron Jones, like I said, I kind of like that. Marlon Mack even, but I don't know. I think it's running back feels chalky. There's going to be a guy who screws it up, but that's my 9 guy.
My number 9 from the Los Angeles Superchargers, Melvin Gordon.
Oh, wow.
I guess a little lower, Ryan.
No respect.
I mean, you could make a case. I mean, yeah, I like Melvin Gordon.
Okay.
I like his consistency. To me, I think he's had injuries with it, or issues with injury. Again, I think Hunter Henry on the Tight Ends podcast, I pointed out, I think he's going to be the guy getting the goal line touchdowns. However, he's been consistent with his touchdowns, 12, 12, and 14 his 3 years, or past 3 years with the Chargers. But you look at his carries, right? 2016, 254, 2017, 284, and then a big dip down to 175. To me, this is a volume thing. I don't think they're going to beat the shit out of him. And they've involved the other running back a bunch. It's a volume thing for me. I like him overall, but number 9 feels right for me for Melvin Gordon. Who's your number 8 guy, Kramer?
Yeah. So he brought me to the promised land last year, James Conner. I know he wasn't there at the very end, but he
didn't make my top 10. But I certainly made a case
9th round
for him.
pick or wherever I got him. With the holdout of Le'Veon Bell. I guess you could argue he should be higher here, but it's hard to see the way that offense plays, the way that Big Ben plays. He's going to continue to catch those passes. You see he dropped right into the Le'Veon Bell role and was able to do it both through the air and on the ground. And to me, he strangely is one of the safer guys.
Yeah,
I think he's going to produce. I there's no red flag when it comes to injury.
Well, I made Juju my number 1 receiver.
Love that too.
And to me, it's just a belief in this Pittsburgh system, the Pittsburgh offense, what they do. They're just consistent year after year.
So the concern would be, is Jalen Samuels gonna get some run? How they go with a guy, right? When when Bell was hurt and D'Angelo Williams, he was the guy. It wasn't like they split it between the backup and the third string.
Yeah, they do kind of have a bell cow vibe too.
They seem to just go with what's working. They like to run that hurry up. The guy's going to stay on the field. He's going to catch a lot of dump offs from Big Ben. I think he absolutely is someone that you, again, same. Let me look at the ADP. So ADP has him as the 8th running back, Sean.
Okay.
10th overall. He's being taken as high as 6th, as low as 21st. So you got to take him in the back end of the first round or the second round.
You know he would be good if you're like a late first round drafter in a snake draft. You know, like in a 12-team league, you get someone else at 10 and then pick him up at whatever 14 or 15 in your second round. I think that would be a good spot.
Yeah, if he's sitting there, you're
if he's sitting there in the second round, I think you grab him. Although, I mean, again, I don't have him in my top 10. So
really?
Just outside. Again, that was for me.
You're wrong, Sean.
For me, Kerryon Johnson. Guys like him and Melvin Gordon edged him out. Number 8 for me, Damian Williams. You brought up a lot of great points. I'm even a little bit higher on Damian Williams. I love taking the Andy Reid running back, especially when there doesn't seem any sort of I don't know. I just don't see him splitting a lot of carries. And Tyreek Hill was involved in the screen game a lot. I think someone's going to pick up that role of the screen game. Andy Reid loves the screens. Damian Williams is definitely a guy who has been underused in the pass catching ability or pass catching role. I think he can do more. And it's a bit of a long shot just because, well, I don't even know if it's a long shot. People seem to be on him. But he's never had that kind of crazy volume. The most carries he's ever had in a season was last year with 50 and 23 catches. So big jump up for him, but it just makes sense in that offense. And, you know, I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes back there. They're going to get some points. They're going to have some red zone opportunities. There's going to be a lot to go around. So, yeah, give me Damian Williams. Who's your number 7, Ryan?
Joe Mixon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is he not in your top 10 as well?
He is.
Again, guess who's not in Cincinnati this year, Sean? Marvin Lewis.
It's true.
Whoa. Zach Taylor. Where's he come from?
Sean McVay.
Lord McVay's coaching tree.
He's a friend of Sean McVay.
What does Lord McVay love to do?
Well, he loves to get the play action going, but to set it up with some running and screening.
And he loves to pass
Dumping
it
it
to
off.
running back. Listen, Joe Mixon has been that guy ever since he knocked that. I'm just a joke, Sean. Listen, he was a complete back. I remember when you were talking yourself into drafting him onto the Eagles. When you were kind of reserved that you were going to end up with this guy and you were selling yourself on how it wasn't that bad, the incident and all that stuff. But, yeah, he has high upside to me, and I think I have him ranked a little bit higher than most. I dabbled with putting him in my top 5. I think it's a little risky considering the team, but I think Joe Mixon is going to be all over the field this year. I hope to have a decent amount of Joe Mixon. If I'm in the back half of the first round drafting, I'm absolutely looking to target Mixon. If I'm drafting 9 through 12, Mixon's going to be my first pick there, most likely.
My number 7, I'll be interested to know if he makes your top 10, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Le'Veon Bell.
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Not a top 10 running back in your mind.
Maybe this might be the guy that I just left off because I want nothing to do with him. I mean, are you going to feel good about using a first or second round pick on him?
Maybe. I could see myself throwing Le'Veon Bell into if he's available in the second round. I could see myself taking him.
See, to me, I guess he's probably in that group that I didn't mention him in that group, but he's probably in that group. That group with like Fournette and Cook for me.
Yeah.
I just all right.
You don't think Adam Gase is going to use Le'Veon Bell? To me, it's a volume thing.
The Jets suck.
Yeah, but this guy now. There's 2 ways to look at it. But he's coming off a year of rest. You don't think they're just going to? You don't think Sam Darnold's just going to drop the ball off and have him juke guys out? Like, you forget how awesome this guy looked. Now, granted, he was kind of out of shape, didn't seem to love the game. That's why he's only number 7. But this guy's going to get a shitload of touches. I just don't see how he doesn't get the volume that makes him valuable, especially in PPR. We're talking about a guy who's just. How does he not catch 80 balls?
I can't. Again, I told you.
You don't think Sam Darnold's going to check it down to a running back?
I told you I thought there were 8 guys, and then there's like a big group after that. Le'Veon Bell's, I guess, in that group for me. I just think there's such a low floor. A lot of things could go wrong. He could have rust. Adam Gase is a psycho that maybe Le'Veon Bell is not going to get along with. The Jets could be an absolute dumpster fire. The offensive line is trash. The main thing is their offensive line.
Yeah, but if your offensive line sucks, what do? You run the screen.
I hear you, and it could be a dumpster volume, just trash play situation. But I'm not sure I'm going to invest a first-round pick on it. Second round, if I'm drafting 1 through 4 and I've already taken one of the stud running backs, maybe that's where I drop in and say I'll pair Le'Veon Bell with a Zeke Elliott. Come on, Sean, pay attention.
That is a disgusting act.
It's trolling. You're not even doing your job.
I'm right there, Ryan.
Yeah, so... Yeah, sorry. I'm just right now on July 1st, 2019, I do not have Le'Veon Bell in my top 10, Sean.
Things could change. These are preseason rankings. Who's your number 6?
Well, all right, so I scratched Le'Veon Bell. My number 6 is our buddy, Melvin Gordon.
Okay.
Again, I think Melvin Gordon.
San Diego Superchargers charge.
Oh wow, I'm looking over at this ADP over at the Fantasy Pros. He's going as high as 1, as low as 10.
Who's taking Melvin Gordon number 1 overall? That sounds like something
I can see it.
O.J. Simpson would do.
He's pretty solid. I think for me, he's clearly 6 though.
Yeah,
so,
number 1's fucking insane. You would take Saquon or McCaffrey or Kamara.
I think he's very clearly not my number. Again, this is my second. My tier kind of goes. My third tier, I'll call it, is Melvin Gordon, Joe Mixon, James Conner.
Okay,
that's the group I have.
T3 for Kramer.
Yeah, I like doing smaller tiers at the top. Sean, who's your number 5?
Well, my number 6, Ryan.
Oh, you're number 6. I'm sorry.
That is a disgusting act.
Give me Zeke.
Oh my goodness.
Feed that man. Why are you saying oh my goodness? Because I admitted to that the Cowboys worthy of being on this list.
I'm
embarrassed.
Him up. So it's weird, right? Like I think you either have to be realistic and put him where he deserves to be, or just leave him off the list.
Why?
You've done this weird thing where you've You're right in the middle where you're trying to pretend like you're being objective about it.
He's meeting with the commissioner.
Oh, stop it. You saw
today.
the video, dude. He's not getting it.
Why
Honestly,
would he not miss 1 or 2 games because of that?
Sean, you saw the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on the list.
Zeke Elliott gets suspended for even 1 game and Tyreek Hill gets only 4 games, we have a serious problem. Zeke Elliott knocked over a millennial pussy who was trying to talk shit.
Right.
Sean,
this
if you
is really weird.
It's going to be really weird. I'm going to go further.
You're going all in on the Cowboys?
No, but if I talk shit to Zeke Elliott and he comes over and knocks me into a freaking metal temporary fence and I fall over, that is not a reason for him to get arrested.
Are you dating Zeke Elliott?
I am not doing any of these things, and I still very much despise the Cowboys. By the way, was at a dude ranch in Colorado, small little town. Going to the little the secondhand store. What do I see? 3 Broncos jerseys, a Teddy Bridgewater jersey, and a Tony Romo jersey. So disgusting. No, I'm just saying, dude. I saw the video. There's no way he's missing time. I disagree with this ranking the most, I think, of yours so far.
Okay.
Objective. I like to give my clients a clear, objective view.
This is pretty objective for me. Well, I have a top 5. He's not in the top 5.
Well, and Sean, this brings me to our latest iTunes review, where you definitely should head over there to iTunes, subscribe, rate, review, like this guy did. Sports Gambling at its best, 5 stars, Sean, by Eli Is My Hero.
Oh, no.
If random breaking news of the Eagles and Giants and hearing two guys argue about who has the worst starting QB, this is your podcast. I think he missed some words in that. Not only does it deliver hilarious antics in the offseason, but also offers random insight of life in Cali. If you're able to make it through the nonsense during the offseason, head over to Sports Gambling Network and listen to my boy Patty C and Colby get wasted on Mexican beer and take 55-plus minutes to get their picks. As they ramble in this run-on sentence about past and present experiences with the world and what it may blah, blah, blah. My point was, I didn't have a point, Sean.
Okay.
Where was I going
Fair
with
enough.
this?
You're
what were we
defending
discussing?
Zeke Elliott.
Oh, that's right.
The man in a crop top, and you're backing him? You're saying to the listeners, this crop top wearing cowboy, he's a top 5 pick in fantasy football running backs.
Maybe it's
We're
because
doing PPR, Ryan. Did you not? This is 1 point per reception.
Yeah. All of these things I know.
Okay.
I still disagree with your ranking of Zeke Elliott.
Dude,
Why are you
Zeke,
getting upset?
I'm not getting upset.
Sounds like a little bit like you're getting upset.
No, you're hilarious that you can't see any potential drop off in a cowboy, let alone Zeke Elliott. A guy in 3 years has over 1,000 touches. Is that not a marker for a down year?
Has he gotten his extension yet?
No.
Well,
maybe maybe you're saying it's a contract year, but I mean, he's had 868 carries in 3 years and 170 or 135 catches. I think last year's 77 receptions, that was an aberration, and I think he's gonna have like 45 receptions.
Well, I think having an actual receiver is going to change things. So
yeah, another great point. You're helping my case as to why he should be number 6.
Oh, I think it's going to open stuff up. I'm actually a little bit worried about the Cowboys this year, Sean.
Why are you worried? You guys aren't going to be involved. You don't have to worry about anything,
you guys?
Ryan.
Oh, the Giants?
Yeah, the New
Sorry.
York Football Giants.
Once again, being objective for my clients.
Breaking news: Daniel Jones disappointed with his Madden rating.
What?
He said he thought he'd be at high 70s, low 80s, and his Madden rating was revealed a 63.
That's disrespectful.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
What are they?
Apparently not, Madden. Apparently not.
What are what are they basing this on?
I don't know. Inside information from our boy Daniel Scones.
Well, guess what? You know what? Just keep working on that chip. Keep working on that chip.
Chip's getting bigger on the shoulder. Okay, Kramer, give us your 5.
Oh, my 5. David Johnson. I think.
Wow. He was a guy I'm just out on. I'm out on the Cardinals. I don't like what they're doing. I
have a feeling.
The Cardinals are just big red flag for me in the Cardinals.
It's the same reason you like Kyler Murray, though, I think. And
don't like Kyler Murray. I like Kyler Murray over passing yards because I think they're going to be in garbage time.
That's my point.
Yeah, but I guess I don't see that. I don't see that translating for the running back. But I see your point.
Cliff Kingsbury will get him involved in the passing game again because, this is a dude who caught 100 passes, right?
Yeah.
If he gets back to even some of that with what we project to be a combination of open up offense and garbage time, I think it's reckless to not take David Johnson. I think he has a very high floor. I think he has a high, he could, if things go as well as they could go, I think his ceiling is he could be the top guy.
To me, what's really scary.
I wouldn't take him over Saquon, but I could see he's in my second tier. It's him and where's my tier? It's him and the guy we're going to talk about next.
He's just not a top 10 guy for me. Once you get to that mid 3 in yards per attempt, and I don't care about situation, offensive line. I mean, they were in a lot of garbage situations last year, and 3.6 yards per attempt. On 258 carries, you're not cracking 1,000. You're not a top 10 running back in my mind. I'm just worried. Like, people keep coming like, oh, when David Johnson gets back to this, he had a decent run in 2016.
Yeah, I'm in, dude. I'm in.
But that was also a volume thing. Like, even his yards per attempt in 2016, that was 4.2. Like, he was never a 5-yard per attempt guy. He had that 80 receptions, but even the 80 receptions, that was off 120 targets.
I just, it's.
I'm not
Kingsbury
super
opens it
out
up.
on him, but he's not a top 10 guy for me. My number 5, the guy you already hit on, Ryan. I'm even higher on him. That's Joe Mixon.
Woo-wee.
Joe Mixon is he's hitting his stride at the right time. And I think, like we said, Zach Taylor coming in with that Sean McVay offense. He was a workhorse before. Like, year 2, 2018, last year, 4.9 yards per attempt and 43 receptions, up from 30 receptions the previous year, almost doubled his rushing yards from his rookie year. This is a guy on the upswing. Like, running backs nowadays have such a short shelf life. It's like year 1, maybe they don't do much. 2, 3, 4, that's where they're on the ascension, and then they kind of peak, and then they're out of the league in 6 years. I think he's hitting his peak at the right time. And again, I'm not in love with the Bengals, but it's also a volume thing. Like, if you read any of those sort of the local stuff, they're seeing him as like a 25-plus touch guy, like a true bell cow. So, Joe Mixon, lock him up for me, number 5. Let's get to your big 4, your core 4, Ryan.
My core 4. So, Christian McCaffrey.
Wow. Bit low, right?
So this is my tier 2. David Johnson, Christian McCaffrey. They have to scale it. They have to not get him killed. And I think they're aware of that. There has been news, as you like to do, scouring the local beat reporters. There have been plenty of reports of the Panthers' plans to scale back his workload, even though he, quote unquote, has no concerns about it. That being said, while I think,
and you're talking about McCaffrey, right?
I'm talking about McCaffrey. I think I'm fairly certain I've done this subconsciously to not end up with Christian McCaffrey on any teams, especially if I'm drafting in the top 3 spots. But at the same time, I'm going to be put to a decision where I'm choosing between Zeke Elliott and Christian McCaffrey. And at that point, what do? Do you take the private school pussy from Stanford? His father did play for the Giants.
Well, his dad is a local guy out of Allentown, Ed McCaffrey.
Easy Ed. No, I just can't. I can't throw him over the top. That I think there's a clear-cut 3 guys, and then it's Christian McCaffrey. I really don't want to be stuck with the 4th or 5th. I don't think I want to get Christian McCaffrey this year, and I think if you end up with the 4th pick, how do you not take him? I don't know. Are you higher on him, Sean? What's your 4?
Yes, I am a little higher on McCaffrey. But again, I don't like McCaffrey, but I just, looking at him, I don't like him as a player to like help you win games, but I do like him as a fantasy guy. My number 4, and judging by your list, Ryan,
yeah,
I'm guessing he's not even in your top 10.
No.
Give me, out of Denver, Colorado, Philip Lindsay.
Number 4.
Wow. Ryan, you can just read off the standard list. I'm giving people a couple juicy tips, a couple guys I'm hot on, a couple guys I'm cold on. Philip Lindsay.
You don't win taking a deep sleeper in the 1st or 2nd round, Sean. I agree. You got to take some stabs.
But this is how I'm ranking the guys. This is how I think they will end up.
I like how you believe in your numbers, Sean. He finished top 12 last year.
Yeah. What makes you think he's going to go down? This guy, he's a fucking beast. 5.4 yards per attempt, 35 receptions, and that was in 15 games. What about Philip Lindsay makes you think he's going to fall off? Vic Fangio's coming in. A defensive coordinator from Chicago is coming to coach the Denver Broncos. Joe Flacco is their quarterback.
Yep.
How are they going to do anything on offense? By just giving it to this fucking madman, Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay, you want to know his off-season news is? He got a giant undrafted tattoo on his arm. You don't think that guy wants to fucking run people over?
So here's what
Who else is getting touches in the Denver Broncos backfield?
I think there's two guys that are being drafted around the same area, and that's Mark Ingram and Philip Lindsay. I like both of them, Sean.
But here's the thing. This is my list, right? So I'm saying I have him at number 4. I know I can get him much later, right? I'm aware of his ADP, but I'm saying at the end of the day, when we look at the top 10 fantasy football running backs in this season, barring injury, or Miles Sanders having
beating
a great
up that
year,
table.
Philip Lindsay will be in the top 10, and I'm going out on a limb and saying top 5. You have Joe Flacco at quarterback. What's your plan? Let him throw the rock?
I don't have this in front of me, and I probably should, but there is some sort of metric about how generally your running backs that finish in the top 10 in fantasy come from a top 10 offense or something along those lines. That would be my concern with.
Were they a top 10 offense last year?
I don't know. He wasn't a top 10 running back, so
he was top 12.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't have, like I said, I don't have the exact metric in front of me. That would be my concern, though. That running backs. Yes, there are the Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara's of the world that can get like just shitloads of targets, but I think you need to score touchdowns to be considered one of these top guys, and I just don't think he's going to get the opportunity.
Who else is going to get?
Dude, I like it.
Touches?
I absolutely love Philip Lindsay, and I probably have him ranked higher than most. Like he's probably in my top. He's in that 4th tier, probably maybe around like 18th. But that being, I can't put him at 4.
Why not?
I mean,
Denver
you can do whatever you want.
Speaking of 4, Denver was 4th in the league with rushing touchdowns last year at 18.
Okay, is this where we talk about regression?
No.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
He had 9 touchdowns, 5.4 yards per carry.
I'm sure Joe Flacco has produced a lot of top running backs.
Well,
hey, diddle, Ray Rice up the middle.
No, I mean, it was different then when Joe Flacco was chucking the ball downfield.
No, I know. Look, Philip Lindsay will outperform his current ADP of running back 23. I 100% on board with you there. I just don't think he's running back 4.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Ryan.
Number 3, Zeke Elliott. To me, I have him ranked around his floor if he stays healthy. He's just going to get, again, workload. He's a big dude. I do think he can handle it more so than all these other guys.
Yeah, he can handle it all right.
He can handle it. And
in his crop top.
Dakota Prescott, they need him. They need him in the passing game. I think they got a glimpse of how that does make them a better team, and they're absolutely silly if they don't give him the ball.
Right.
As much
You're
as
making
the Giants,
me gross.
as
You're
much
grossing me out. Dude. I mean, it's like,
what the fuck?
I get it. We're trying to, give people legit information, but you don't have to get off there and just start polishing the knob of Zeke Elliott.
All right.
No, sorry. Continue your point on loving Zeke Elliott.
You got to take him here.
Okay. Number 3 feels high to me. Number 3 for me, Alvin Kamara. 81 receptions in his rookie year and his second year. Drew Brees in a dome. No more Mark Ingram possibly stealing carries from you.
Latavius Murray is there.
Yeah. But
if you're worried about someone stealing carries.
Yeah, but he's been both year 1 and year 2. It's just been solid. I mean, 18 touchdowns last year, 14 rushing, 4 receiving. The year before, 13 touchdowns. He's going to get another 100 targets. His yards per attempt, 4.6, down a little bit from 6.1, but he wasn't running as much his rookie year.
The only thing I would caution you with Kamara, and it's a nice transition because he is my number 2 guy, but I think he will be a guy that will randomly throw out a game where he's not super useful. He had a number of games last year. He had a 7-point game, an 11-point game, a 15 and a 16. Not horrible floors. Not horrible floors at all, especially when you're talking about 40-point upside. I mean, for the reasons you said, I love him as the number 2 guy. He's only he's been 3rd and 4th in his first 2 years, and now clear downgrade from Mark Ingram to Latavius Murray in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was underused last year in a weird way.
Well, I mean,
because I think they went out of their way to try and find a balance.
Yeah, he never had more than he had a 19 carry game, a 17 carry game, and a 16 carry game, and everything else was 14 or less. So now all of that being said, he definitely had some games where he racked up some catches. I mean, he had a 20 target game, 15 catches. So can we get rid of Taysom Hill? To me, he does really. He makes you. If you're a white guy, he makes you squirm a little bit.
What's annoying about Taysom Hill is it just feels like Sean Payton going out of his way to try and be smart. Hey, look, I'm gonna trick you with Taysom Hill. You have Alvin Kamara. Just give that guy the fucking ball. So much more athletic.
He's the guy in the parking garage that drives a souped-up Honda Civic or something and has to back into his fucking parking spot. That's who he is.
He definitely had like one of those mufflers.
Like he's not a fucking Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You're a fucking like $15,000 car with some aftermarket parts. Like chill the fuck out. You don't need to back in Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, he's annoying.
You're number 2 guy. Yeah, I like the Kamara thing.
So
I think.
Anything else to add on why you like Kamara number 2, right? That's pretty
number
high.
2. Because that 2, that's the problem with these rankings and with the situation this year is I don't want to take Zeke 2. I don't want to take McCaffrey 2. All these other guys, I'm like, fuck, who do I take?
Yeah.
Who do I take? So for me, I like the fact that Kamara has those massive game upsides and again, because of his involvement in the passing game and Drew Brees' arm isn't getting any stronger, I would imagine he'll continue to get those targets and just make his floor super enticing.
My number 2, Christian McCaffrey. That's right. What?
Private school guy, number 2 spot. Huh?
I don't like Christian McCaffrey as a person. I find him kind of annoying and obnoxious, and I don't think he really helps you win football games.
Has he missed any games yet?
Christian McCaffrey?
Has he been hurt?
I feel like he
missed a game.
I feel like he's kind of perpetually banged up a little bit.
That's got to be catching up with him because he's a small. I know he's not a tiny guy, but
yeah, he's played every game. 13 touchdowns last year. He
was just on fire down the stretch too.
Cam Newton. Am I the only one who's noticed Cam Newton doesn't have a shoulder?
It's fixed.
Why am I the only one?
It's fixed now. It's fixed, Sean.
It was like, this reminds me of the Andrew Luck season where he sat out the entire season, and people like in the preseason, it was or in the off season, it's like he's not really throwing a football yet, and people are like he's gonna be fine.
The report was he hasn't yet thrown a full size football.
Yeah, so he's got like a Nerf Turbo out there.
What kind of football is he throwing?
The guy's not playing. Again, I love Will Grier. That's whatever.
No, you got it right. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay. I love Will Grier, and I think he ends up starting a decent number of games for the Panthers. That's my only concern. He comes in, just a fucking real man, and tells Christian McCaffrey, we're not doing your dumb dink and dunk bullshit. I'm going to sling the rock like a grown man like Cam Newton used to be able to do before he became Sham Newton. And his shoulder's completely shot. But, I think the numbers game with McCaffrey, they can say they're going to limit him, but how? What are you going to do? Let Cam Newton with his blown out shoulder throw the ball, or have him do QB runs? You just have to give the ball to McCaffrey.
The concern would be that can he sustain his – I think he was on the field for like 92% of the offensive snaps for Carolina, which is a very high number. It's a very high number. So that would be it. That and like when I mentioned him, the talk of him being scaled back a little bit.
Yeah, I hear that. But I think Cam Newton's injuries, which they're refusing to acknowledge publicly, really, are going to force them into keeping that volume, if not increasing it. So that's why I got him number 2.
Yeah.
Who's your number one, Ryan?
Come on, dude. I mean,
Philip Lindsay?
Saquon, baby. He finished as the number one. He finished as a number one wide receiver or number one running back in 75% of his games last year. Period. Like like his floor is super high. He's a monster. And if anything, they got better, right? They finally got rid of that cancer Odell. They got some chemistry in the locker room.
I also have Saquon Barkley as
Daniel
my number
Jones
one.
is just going to be check down city.
Well, and does that? I think that helps Saquon Barkley because they got rid of their best.
He caught 91 passes last year.
They got rid of their best quarterback, and so that's going to force them to even check it down more. Eli Manning's not throwing a pass past 5 yards.
He's had 91 catches last year, and yeah, I guess Golden Tate's going to really chip into that workload.
No, I think if you're a Giants fan, this is why you watch. You're no longer a fan of the team. You're just a fan of Saquon Barkley's fantasy numbers.
Oh, he's amazing. Like, what sucks is I got to be the number one pick. I can't get him. How many drafts do you think he'll – actually, I lied because I got him at the number 2 in that best ball draft, but that guy was a fool. He took Christian McCaffrey. I didn't understand.
Well, Christian McCaffrey had 107 catches last year. So.
But who are you taking over him?
No, I agree. And he's at the perfect time. He's in that year 2 to year 4 window, which is a very small window for running backs. Like
he's also
get
a
it while
freak.
you can if you're Saquon Barkley, because 3 years from now,
Christian McCaffrey, like he looks elusive, but Barkley's a different specimen.
no,
Those times where he runs the guy over and then he beats the DB to the corner, like that's
Barkley's definitely better, and that's why I have him number 1. But your case for Christian McCaffrey is it's full point PPR. The thing is, the Giants, they also have a guy with a noodle arm battling it out. I mean, I think I could hang with Eli right now at the quarterback position.
You know what our buddy Dick Olson says, right?
What does Dick say?
Don't trust the white guys.
Christian
In fantasy
McCaffrey.
football, you don't trust the white guys. He has made an amendment to that rule that because he's the son of Ed McCaffrey, it's okay. But
I love Ed McCaffrey, but his son's kind of – this is the problem. If you
remember
grow
when
up,
he snapped his leg on Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you
that was
grow up
horrible.
rich, you're just not going to have the same eye of the tiger. You're not going to have the eye of the tiger like undrafted Philip Lindsay, who is just going to fucking run over people left and right. Playing for the hometown crowd. No one believed in him.
Do you remember how
Philip
bad?
Lindsay is one of my
Can we not?
favorite non-Eagle
Sean,
players.
please. We're talking about the number 1 running back.
Okay.
The offensive line was horrible last year. Speaking of which, Eric Flowers is going to start for the fucking Redskins. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't. The offensive line actually may be better. I really think Barkley had an amazing year last year, and I think he's just kind of touched the tip. How he only had 4 games where he didn't score 20 points, Sean.
Wow.
And one of those was 18. One of those was 19. High floor, massive ceiling. He's also number 1 in my heart, Sean.
Yeah,
Now
you gotta
that
have someone. Week
now that
1,
that filthy cancer, cancerous tumor.
they were stunning his physical and emotional growth.
You know what else I've done, Sean?
Yes.
I've really turned a corner on Daniel Jones. I'm really getting into this angle that he's super athletic. I read that he ran like the second fastest like shuttle or cone drill ever.
The guy's a beast. Ryan, not to tip my hand, but week 1 DFS, Kerryon Johnson. The Lions
Oh, really?
are in a dome against Arizona. That Cardinals, that Cliff Kingsbury defense, that
you sure about
famous
that?
defense.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That defense might be something. You never know. I'm just kidding, Sean.
Okay.
I like your angle.
What about over-under fantasy points? Saquon Barkley, week 1. I'm looking up who they got. Oh, in Dallas.
Okay.
That's Do your bit about how Eli always does well and
No, I'm not doing that bit. Why do they have to start the season against Dallas every year? Like, let's
In
play some
Dallas.
bad weather games. This fucking pussy footing around.
it's September though.
In the hot ass Cowboy Stadium. It's Dallas in the summer. Like, that's bullshit.
That is the heat.
How many years have the fucking Cowboys? It's in Dallas.
Yeah, that was the infamous.
It's always in fucking Dallas.
That was the Eagles started off against the Cowboys, and that was the infamous pickle juice game, where Andy Reid made them all drink pickle juice the night before
Smart.
to avoid dehydration. And it was the 2000 season. Deuce Staley went off. It was hot as shit. Trying to look up the game time temp, but it was like crazy. Yeah, it was September 3rd, 105-degree heat with readings on the artificial turf that suggested things felt like 150 degrees. They went on to destroy them 41-14, started the game off with an onside kick. Amazing memory. Kramer, before we wrap things up, let's talk deep sleepers. Who's on your board, right off your board? Ronald Jones seems to be a guy that's getting a lot of attention. Are you on board or not?
Yeah, got it. Got to like him. I think again, look at the coach. Bruce Arians, what did he do with David Johnson? He did something with David Johnson, and then they completely fucked that up in Arizona. So I think he can bring – I mean, there was a lot of hype about Ronald Jones last year. It seemed like he just didn't get out of the doghouse with the coaches. Dirk Cutter's now coaching the offense in Atlanta. Bruce Arians is going to get his running back involved. I think I saw a quote where he was, quote-unquote, very excited about what he's seen from Ronald Jones in the progression in the offseason. Absolutely got a ton of shares of him already in the best ball, doing these little $35 ones, getting warmed up, Sean. Listen, you're going to hear a lot of people say David Montgomery. I think David Montgomery is super intriguing because we know Tariq Cohen is not going to get the bulk of the carries, and yet Tariq Cohen is being drafted ahead of him. David Montgomery, again, these rookie running backs, we know someone's going to do it, right? And, the reports coming out of the beat reporters are that he looks really good in the passing game. I'm super intrigued by him. And, in fact, David Montgomery would be a guy I'll throw out there.
Keep an eye on in preseason.
We could be drafting him in the first round next year. Is that a hot take?
That's a very hot take, Ryan.
Hot.
And his ADP is somewhere in the around 30. So I think there's a ton of value there. I think if you have an opinion about the 49ers situation, I think you got to go for it because, for me, similar kind of area on the draft board, you're going to have Tevin Coleman. I think that's intriguing. Going reunited with Kyle Shanahan. We both, I think, agreed that McKinnon isn't a guy who's going to be a bell cow. We think Tevin Coleman could be more of that. Or it's just going to be a distribution of carries there. But you got to take a stab at one of them because we know Shanahan knows how to make a productive running back. And when you see Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, both going in the 30s for running back, I think in Breida's at 45, you got to take a stab at one of those. You already mentioned Ronald Jones. He's number 38 in the ADP right now. What do you think about Shady McCoy?
I'm out.
It's hard to be in on him, but what
here's
about
my
Rashad Penny?
Here's my – that's interesting, but here's my sleeper, and he is on the Bills. Take a look at Devin Singletary.
Ooh.
3rd-round pick for the Buffalo Bills. I think they realize that LaShawn McCoy is past his prime.
Yep.
I think the fact – now, there was a lot of love from the Eagles organization for LaShawn McCoy and vice versa. And I think the fact that they brought in a guy like Jordan Howard as their veteran guy and drafted Miles Sanders – instead of bringing in LaShawn McCoy, I think is a red flag. And
Agree with that.
Devin Singletary, 3rd-round pick.
You going deep.
Florida Atlantic. He's a guy I would try. I mean, you could probably – I'm sure he's going undrafted in some leagues.
100%.
But he's a guy, again, maybe they'll tip their hand in preseason and it won't be any value. But I would throw him deep on your roster. I think he could make some noise. And – I mentioned it. Miles Sanders for the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a hamstring going on that flared up, so he didn't participate in OTAs. So that sets a guy back, especially rookie year. But again, this is going off the local beat guys. They were saying there was a chance he would be the lead back over Jordan Howard. And again, a very running back friendly offense.
They always split carries there, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't they always?
I'm just saying
Seems
he's a guy put on your sheet, keep an eye out on, or try, throw him out there on your late round pick.
A couple guys. I mean, real quick, House. You said Devin Singletary. He's running back 56 right now, according to the ADP. Another guy. I mean, Darrell Henderson. He's going off the board at running back 37. I think if you draft Todd Gurley, you absolutely better handcuff him with Darrell Henderson, rookie out of Memphis. And then I think if you like Aaron Jones and you're buying into the hype and you're drafting Aaron Jones high up near the top 10, I think you have to snag Jamal Williams later on because you never know. It seems like that every year we go into it like, oh, what if Green Bay had a bell cow back, and they just never have a guy. So in a situation where both guys might be scoring in a more prolific offense,
Matt
you got to
LaFleur is going to show Aaron Rodgers how it's done.
He's gonna.
That could go really bad.
You know what he did? He's got Jordy Nelson chained up in a closet. Aaron Rodgers is stoked. There was one more I was going to throw out. Oh, James White. James White is going off as the 28th running back right now.
Yeah.
James White, and this is maybe more of a best ball strategy thing, but when James White scores, he's going to score. And who the fuck is going to – who's catching passes from Tom Brady?
And Sony Michel just had his knee scoped.
Yeah, I know James –
it's already a red flag if your second year already getting your knee scoped.
But, it seems like I don't know if I'd want to end up with James White, but it seems more and more clear that James White is going to be involved with the way the NFL is going, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, you always get scared having a Patriots running back in there.
Not as much this year.
Especially late though. Last year became very predictable as far as his receiving targets and
playoff Jimmy.
Yeah.
So, anyone else you want to throw out there, Sean?
Nope. We did it all. We said it all. We learned it all.
Oh, Mark Ingram. That's the guy I wanted to throw out there. Hey, running offense in Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's intriguing. I know a lot of people are high on Justice Hill, another rookie, also on Baltimore, but Mark Ingram's like a legit running back. And look what Gus Edwards was doing last year, Just a thought there.
All right. I could maybe see a spot for him. Ryan, we said it all. Our next stop, or we just finished up our next stop here in their top 10 fantasy football preview series, Football in July on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Hey, make sure you sign up for that MyBookie Super Contest. Use the promo code SGP50 and rate, review, share on iTunes. Check us out on Instagram, doing a ton of cool content over there, along with our YouTube page as well. Hitting the wall here. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Go USA.
Kramer, let it ride.